Hello and welcome back to the Football Rundown. We're here with the League 2 match preview, Stockport County, Newport County. Tomorrow afternoon, it's a massive game for Stockport County now. Every game is a massive game. Win that title race with Mansfield Town, with others, with the likes of Wrexham and Crewe as well, potentially. But Mansfield is the team to focus on. They're the team that's top of the table at the moment, and they dropped points on Tuesday with MK Dons beating them 2-1 at home. So that's a massive result for Stockport County. If we're able to take full advantage of it against Newport County tomorrow afternoon, who, as I say, are in good form. When we last played them, they ended our winning streak, but they were 20th place in the table. They're now currently 12th in League 2 and just, I think, 5 points off the playoff places. If you said to me back in November that Newport may have a shout of getting in the playoff places come the end of the season, I think you're a little bit mad. But I think that just goes to show how unique League 2 can be, how a team can just go from not having their best results to getting on a good run of results, and before you know it, you move up the league. And I think that's the thing about League 2. It's full of surprises. I've got a lot of things wrong this season of where I said teams would finish, and I've also got a lot of things right as well, but I think that it's very difficult to predict this league. It's so unpredictable, and I think we're seeing that with the form that Newport County have been in since November. So like I say, it's going to be a really interesting game, as well, for both sides, really. As I say, Newport are fighting for playoff spots. Stockport County are fighting for the title. Obviously, Mansfield had that 3 points over us at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game plans out. I'm hoping that Stockport County win the game, but I know it's not going to be easy. I know that obviously we've still got quite a few injury problems as well. I mean, just going through the players that are injured off the top of my head, Ackle Wright's going to be a miss. Obviously, we've got Southern Hales, Kyle Noyle. These kind of players are injured. So it's Ethan Pye may be back, but it's very difficult. And obviously, a lot of people will be asking the question of when will Louis Barry be back? When is he going to return in a Stockport County shirt? Can he be the difference for us in the back end of the season? There's a lot of situations. Crowsdale's also out injured as well. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Hopefully, maybe Callum Camps may be back available for this game. Obviously, Ethan Pye was on the bench against Swindon, so possibly he'll be involved from the start. We're going to go into the team that I hope we pick anyway with what we've got available to us. But obviously injuries are an issue. That's sort of been the problems that Stockport County have had for the majority of the season, really, but certainly maybe the last few months, where it has held us back massively. And as I say, I've said many times as well, I don't want to hide behind that. I don't want to hide behind excuses. But it's not just the amount of injuries we've had, it's the types of players who are injured. They're all key players for the county, so it's very difficult. But I think that just goes to show as well that when Stockport County miss 4 or 5 key players, there isn't really a lot in the squad that you can come in and rely on to do a job, and I think that's been the problem. Obviously, we saw against Tranmere where we had quite a few injuries. The whole back line, I think 3 of the 4 players had been brought in January, so it's not a solid back 4. And we saw obviously how that went. It ended up being a 4-0 defeat at Tranmere. So that's just an example where when we've lost a few players for whatever reason, illness, injury, we're not able to put out a group of players that we can trust and rely on to go and do the job. So just a few quick reminders as well. Obviously, County's game against Colchester has now finally been moved to the 9th of April. It's a 7:45 kickoff on the Tuesday night, which is unfortunate for those who can't make it. Now it's been put to a Tuesday night, but that's been confirmed now. That was early in the week, so that's going to happen. Another update as well, we've had an update on some County loan players. It looks like maybe Taylor Mahon, if I've pronounced that right, may be involved in the first team because he's been recalled, and I think he may be trained with the first team, so possibly he could be used. I think he's a centre-back, correct me if I'm wrong, so maybe with the injury crisis we've got going on at the moment, he may possibly be on the bench. We may see some involvement with him in the first team over the next few weeks. I want to get your thoughts on that though. If you've heard anything, maybe there are a few more academy players that may be in the first team or in and around the first team that can maybe possibly help us over the next few weeks. As for injury updates, Crowsdale, we said before, out for a few weeks after hernia surgery, but I think Dave Chandler said he'll be back for the run-in. And then of course we've asked the question about Ethan Pye, will he be back in the starting 11? When's Louis Barry back? These kind of questions that I think we're all wanting to know the answer for, and hopefully we'll know very shortly. I think Dave Chandler will sit down and discuss this later on this evening, so we'll have a bit of a better idea when these players will be back available for Stockport County. Another one's Ackle Wright, who's still missing, I believe, for Stockport County. And of course, Kyle Noyle and Southern Hales are missing 2 massive options for us at right back, and Case just hasn't looked at it since he's come in on loan from Port Vale in January just doesn't seem to have the quality or the confidence to to perform even in League Two, which is surprising given that he's been on loan. That he's been playing for Port Vale, who are in League One. So the fact that he can't really seem to be cutting it at League Two would be a worry, I think, for Port Vale. But it's a worry for us at the moment as well, because it's the only player we can really play there. And I'm surprised really that he hasn't performed, because Dave Chandler worked with him at Hartlepool. He seemed to have that trust in him to bring him in, and he just hasn't seemed to, be performing to the level that I think we're expecting, and Dave Chandler would have been expecting. So it's a massive problem with us at right back at the moment. But like I say, I want to come into this game confident. But obviously the form that County have been in recently doesn't suggest that there's a reason to be confident. But just going to go into a few stats as well about both sides. Obviously Newport County come into this fixture having won 6 matches in 2024 so far, whereas Stockport have won just 3 matches in 2024 this year. It's not been a brilliant record for us so far since the turn of the year, and hopefully it'll be a better record for us tomorrow. But as I say, Newport County are in good form at the moment. They're confident, and obviously they beat Wrexham as well a few weeks ago, so I think they're a pretty solid team at the moment. I would be worried about them coming into this game. Obviously Stockport are winless in their last 4 matches, scoring just once. That was a goal against Crewe at home. They've let in 7 goals in that period too, so conceded quite a few goals. Obviously the 4-0, the 3 against Crewe, and obviously a few draws as well. It just hasn't been good enough from County recently, and we're hoping that there's going to be a turnaround at some point over the next few weeks. But the only way I can see that happening is players coming back from injury. I think it's fair to say that Stockport County have dropped off. I think they've lost their edge since that last meeting with Newport County back in November. Prior to that meeting in November, County had won 13 matches in League Two. Since then, the Hatters have won just 5 matches in League Two. So I think that just goes to show, obviously, how much of a hit that took from us. But obviously, the fact that County just haven't been able to find that rhythm that they had beforehand since that game. And whilst that was 2 or 3 months ago now, I think you can definitely look at that game and suggest that was the game that was a turning point in County's season. It had been all positive, really. Apart from maybe the first few games, it'd been all positive until that point. And I think since then, yes, we've won games. We even had the 8-0 against Sutton in that time, but we just haven't seemed to really have that momentum. Yeah, we've won 1 or 2 games, but we haven't put 2 or 3, on the bounce. And I think that's been the problem. County just haven't had that consistency since the last meeting with Newport. Hopefully we can turn around with a positive result tomorrow. Newport have had a real turnaround in form since that. Obviously since that previous meeting, they've had a really high spring up the table in recent months. They were 20th place going into our meeting last time out with 19 points. Will Evans is one of the league's top scorers with 20 goals. That's just 3 behind League Two's top scorer, Macaulay Langstaff, who has 23 League Two goals to his name so far this season. Newport County have a side that has a strong record for points gained after falling behind in recent seasons. They've gained 17 points from being behind so far this season. That puts them in joint second alongside Salford, Morecambe and Walsall. Only Crewe have amassed more points with 20 points. So I think that's quite clear. Obviously, this is a side that's able to turn around games even when they go goal down, and I think that's the thing about County tomorrow. Even if County have that first goal, it's important that we don't sit on that. And it's important that we don't get complacent. County have to get the first goal, obviously, but it means we have to continue our performance. We have to play at a really high level for not just 10 or 20 minutes, but for the majority of the game. And I think that'll be the thing, for tomorrow. I think it's important that we do perform to a high level for a long period in the game, because even in the games, even against Tranmere, we had a good 15-20 minute spell after, coming out of the second half. But then Tranmere got that goal a little bit against the run of play, and we just dropped. Our performance level just dropped. Our confidence just dropped. And I think that's the problem. That's something that County have to look out for tomorrow. Even if we go goal down, which hopefully we don't, we have to make sure that our heads don't drop. And we remind ourselves that we're Stockport County and we've been top of the table for most of the season. We have to start playing like that, come the back end of the season. At the end of the day, I think we're going up, 2 teams going up against one another tomorrow who are very, very good in front of goal in League Two so far this season. Certainly clinical. If we look at the conversion rate as well, based on stats, Newport County are ranked as one of the most clinical teams in League Two this season. This is based on the conversion rate. Newport County's conversion rate in League Two is at 9.6%. That ranks the 6th highest in League 2 this season, some distance ahead of the league's highest scorers Mansfield Town, who failed to even make it into the top 10 with a conversion rate of 8.6%, a whole 1% lower than Newport. Stockport are also rated highly clinical this season, as they rank the 3rd highest with a conversion rate of 10.7%, level with Crewe. That's a massive upgrade on last season's 9.2%. County have a goal more than they did from all of last season in League 2 so far this season. So obviously we come up against a side that is clinical in front of goal. Maybe they don't score the most goals, but they certainly take the chances. So I think that's going to be something. Depending on the back four that we put out tomorrow, we have to be alert and make sure we don't really allow them to have too many chances, because the stats show that they can make the most out of their chances and they can put the ball in the back. They can put the ball in the back of the net if and when they do create them chances. But Stockport are the same as well. If Stockport get chances in the game, I expect them to take it. Because even though we didn't maybe make them, the most of our chances that we had in the Tranmere games, I'm thinking back, second half, maybe a bright 10-15 minutes where we had maybe 2 or 3 chances, probably should have scored one. That would go against the fact that County are clinical, because we probably could have got 1 or 2 back in that game in that period of time. But I think that County generally this season have been pretty good in front of goal, and I expect us to be like that against Newport tomorrow. And I think we've got to be if we want to give ourselves any chance of winning the game, which is a must in my opinion for Stockport County. So obviously injuries are plaguing Stockport County's squad selection at the moment, and I'm not 100% sure on the injury status of some of our players, but I do understand we've got a lot of injury problems, and based on the injuries that I think we've got and players that I expect won't be available, this is the team I've gone for Stockport County tomorrow. So we've gone with obviously Ben Hinchcliffe in goal, Lewis Case at right back, who I say has been suspect since his arrival at Edgley Park, but it's probably the only option we've really got there at the moment. So I think he will play at right back. Then I think we'll go with Horsfall and Ethan Pye at the back. I do think that Ethan Pye, if he was back on the bench against Swindon, I expect him to be available to start this game. That was 2 weeks ago, so I'd imagine he's more than capable of starting the game now. And I think it's vital that he does. He's been massive for us so far this season when he's been available. Him and Horsfall are really solid at the back, and I think we need them playing alongside one another at the back for County once again. Then we've gone with Ibal Toure at left back. We're not blessed with options there at the moment. I know we've got Bristow as well who can play there, but I think he was massively exposed in the game I saw him against against Tranmere, which was one of his former clubs. I think that Toure will go there. He's not appreciated by many at County, but I think that there are some who do like him as a player, and I do think that he's probably again the best option we've got at left back at the moment. We could possibly play Miles Hippolyte there. He did play left wing back at times last season, so potentially we could play Hippolyte there. I want to get people's thoughts on that. Would you play Ibal Toure at left back, or would you give Hippolyte a chance at left back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments on that one. Then we've gone with Callum Camps in midfield, who we expect will be back available for this game, alongside Sarcevic, Nick Powell and Connor Evans. In midfield, it's obviously a 4-4-2 diamond, with of course Tanto Alafi and Paddy Madden up front. My thoughts on this is that I think that with obviously Kyle Wootton on the bench in this scenario, I think that he will not want to start his best 2 strikers in the game, and I think he thinks Tanto Alafi and Kyle Wootton are his 2 best strikers. As I say, he wants to leave one on the bench just in case. And I also think that Kyle Wootton offers something different in the game. He's a bit more of a focal point in attack. Obviously, Alafi's got pace. There's an argument whether or not you may start, Wootton and maybe bring Alafi on for pace against tired defenders, but with the form that Alafi's been in so far this season, I suppose it's hard to leave him out really. And with Paddy Madden alongside him, who can kind of be a bit of a focal point as well. He likes to hold the ball as well. He's fairly creative as well. So I think that, with that team, you've got 3 or 4 players looking to just feed Alafi alone there. So we'll have to see how it pans out. We'll have to see what team County do go with tomorrow. But this is the team I would go with. So let me know your thoughts on that. What team would you put to face Newport County tomorrow? What your thoughts on the team I've selected. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on team selection and the team that I put forward. I think it's going to be a really tight game, to be honest. I don't think there's been loads and loads of goals in it. I could be wrong. It could be 3 or 4 goals in this game now. But for me personally, I think it's going to be decided maybe 1 goal. So possibly a 1-0, possibly a 2-1. In terms of score prediction, I've got to give one, haven't I? I mean, it's difficult to really think of a score prediction for County in a moment. You just don't know what you're going to get. Obviously, over the last few games, we've had 2 draws, but before that, we'd had 2 defeats. So we're a little bit all over the place. We're not used to winning over the last month or so. But I'm going to go with Stockport County win. I think that's probably heart over head a little bit there. But I think that Stockport County will win the game. Well, I'm hoping Stockport County do win the game. And I will go with a 2-1 win to Stockport County tomorrow. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below on score prediction, squad selection. Who do you think is going to start the game? Who do you think may win the game for Stockport County? I have a feeling that Tanto Alafi may be heavily involved in this game. I'm certainly hoping so. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this game. Of course, don't forget to like the video as well if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already. Click the notification bell as well to make sure you know when videos go up on this channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.